Hi, my name's Ian Woodward, and today we're going to show you step by step how to make a jewelry box just like this one. For this project, we're going to start with some soft white pine and redwood that we have laying around the shop. We're going to mark off at an inch and use a table saw to make ourselves 6 inch by inch boards of each. Your board length depends on your project. We cut these off at about 2 feet, but remember, you can always trim the excess later. Now that we have our boards, we're going to lay them alternatingly on our pair of cabinet clamps. Here we apply a generous amount of wood glue to our pieces and press them together overnight. It's important to make sure there's no gaps in the glue, as that can lead to a weak point in the seal later on and can cause pieces to snap off while routering. While our upper portion dries, we're going to repeat these first steps to create the lower portion of our box, but this time using 2-inch thick boards. Now that both our upper and lower blocks have sealed, we're going to chisel off any excess glue. Next, we're going to do a few passes with an 80 grit power sander to smooth them down. Once that's done, we're going to go back to our table saw and cut these 1 inch again, perpendicular from where we cut them before. Now we're going to alternate the pieces as shown. We place these on our cabinet clamps, apply the wood glue, and tighten them back up for another night of sealing. It's important to remember that even though it's not being shown, we're going to be alternating both sections like this. Now that we have our blocks how we want them, we're going to use a stencil on the thicker one to set up our workspace. Then we attach 2-sided adhesive to the stencil so it won't move while we're working. For the same reason, we're going to screw the block to the table. Here, we're using a router with a 1/2 inch 2-fluted straight shank bit to create a guide. We're going to take our block to the drill press and use a Forstner bit with a 1-inch head in order to bore out the rest of the box's depth. Now we'll reattach it to the table, and using the router from before, we'll finish off the inside. With the inside done, we're going to take it over to the bandsaw and follow the mark that we made with the template to cut out the block. We're going to use a 6-inch belt and disc sander with 80 grit paper to smooth out the edges. Now we'll use an 80 grit palm sander on the upper edges and the bottom of our box. Since it's all cleaned up, we'll start making our dowel holes for the lid by using a 1/8 inch drill bit on the top and bottom center of our box. With our bottom in more or less the shape it's going to be, we're going to use it as a template to mark out the top of the box. Once we like the placement, we use the double-sided tape to hold the top and bottom together while we cut out the top with the bandsaw. Once again, we smooth out the edges with the table sander. Then we use the drill press to extend the dowel holes into, but not all the way through, the top of our block. Next, we're going to measure the distance from the outside to the center at multiple points in order to make sure that we split the cover correctly. For this, we're going to use a scroll saw with a 5-inch 15 tooth per inch blade. With them now apart, we'll bevel the edges of the top doors using a 1/4 inch round over bead bit. Let's do a quick check to make sure our door goes on and rotates without any issues. Those work pretty good, so we're going to sand the pieces down by hand. We're going to start with an 80 grit paper and work our way up to a 600. Once we're done sanding, we're going to make sure the surface is clean. For this project, we decided to finish with a drying Minwax polyurethane clear gloss. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.